War. It's the most destructive force humanity has ever created. It obliterates cities, shatters families, and drains nations dry. But behind every explosion, every front line, and every political speech, there's another story, a quieter one. The story of the people and corporations that profit when the world goes to hell. Because while war kills millions, it also creates billionaires. War isn't just chaos, it's business. And for some, it's the best business there is. Governments may wrap it in flags and honor, but money is always the shadow lurking behind the flagpole. The moment a conflict erupts, markets react instantly. Oil prices surge, defense stocks skyrocket. Contracts worth billions are signed behind closed doors. And in the boardrooms of the world's largest companies, executives don't see tragedy. They see opportunity. Weapons, logistics, medicine, fuel, food. Every single bullet, every boot on the ground, every bandage is an invoice. Each soldier on the battlefield represents money flowing through an invisible supply chain of profit. Think of it like this. Wars aren't just fought for territory anymore. They're fought for contracts, for influence, for access to precious natural resources. During World War II, major corporations like General Motors, IBM, and Standard Oil were found working on both sides of the conflict. Fast forward to today, and the game hasn't changed. It's just become more sophisticated. Global defense contractors quietly lobby governments to keep military spending high, regardless of who's in power. Hidden behind the phrase national security is a trillion-dollar machine that must keep running, or it collapses under its own immense weight. And the profit machine doesn't stop when the fighting does. After every war comes what's called reconstruction. Cities must be rebuilt, roads repaired, infrastructure restored. And guess who gets those lucrative contracts? Often, it's the very same companies that supplied the war in the first place. The corporations that help destroy a country are paid, again, handsomely to rebuild it. It's a perfect, self-sustaining cycle of destruction and profit. The ultimate business model. Meanwhile, banks and financial institutions also find their place in the chaos. When governments need to finance a war, they borrow staggering amounts of money. War debt becomes one of the most profitable investments in history. We call them war bonds, a polite term for funding destruction and earning interest on it. It's a transaction that turns tragedy into a reliable return on investment. Even the raw materials needed for conflict, steel, oil, copper, lithium, become part of a global gold rush. Every bomb dropped increases demand. Every tank built keeps factories humming. And every new technology developed for war eventually filters down into our civilian lives, turning yesterday's weapons into today's innovations. The internet, GPS, jet engines, even major medical breakthroughs. Many of these were born from military research. War fuels a certain kind of progress, but at what cost? It also fuels control. The more a government spends on war, the more power it centralizes. Budgets balloon, surveillance expands. Fear becomes the perfect justification for limiting freedom. And while citizens rally behind slogans and patriotism, the balance sheets of defense contractors quietly bloom in the background, far from public view. Just look at the modern conflicts that dominate our headlines. Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Gaza. Every headline hides a spreadsheet. Every casualty report masks a profit statement. In Washington, London, Moscow, and Beijing, war isn't always seen as a catastrophe. It's a strategic calculation. Politicians stand at podiums promising peace, but in the halls of power, lobbyists whisper numbers that make peace inconvenient, even unprofitable. When an entire sector of the economy depends on conflict, peace becomes bad for business. Now, we're entering a new era. Cyber warfare and AI-driven conflict are the new frontiers. Software that hacks into critical infrastructure. Autonomous drones that make life or death decisions. Satellites that spy from orbit. They all belong to companies. Companies funded by governments, traded on Wall Street, and owned by shareholders who may never truly know what their money is building. It's an economy that thrives on fear. Fear of invasion. Fear of collapse. Fear of the unknown. And fear sells better than any product on Earth. Behind every televised war is a global machine. Politicians, generals, bankers, and CEOs, all feeding off one another in a complex ecosystem. The public pays the price in blood and treasure. The elite collect their profits in billions. And once a war ends, they don't simply retire. They move on, scouting for the next battlefield, the next opportunity. History repeats itself, not because we forget, but because profit demands it. From the muddy trenches of the past to the digital battlegrounds of the future, the same cold, hard principle holds true. War is the most consistent and ruthless business model humanity has ever known. So the next time you see a nation marching to war, ask yourself, who really benefits, who gains power, and who is signing the checks? Because behind the deafening echo of every gunshot, you can hear the faint, unmistakable sound of a cash register ringing. Thank you so much for watching. If this video gave you a new perspective, consider liking and subscribing for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world. See you next time.